Hey guys, Ray from loveyourrv.com. Well, in the last 9 years of being full-time RVers, we've tried out a great many RV and related products and gadgets. Back in 2016, I put out a list of my 10 must-have RV gadgets, and it was extremely popular. Obviously, RVers love gadgets. So I'm back again with 10 more of my must-haves. These are items I use all the time. Say our whole rig went off a cliff and got destroyed. Hopefully not, but say it did. These are the things I'd go out and buy for a new RV right away. So let's start. Number 1, wireless tire pressure monitoring system. So many trucks and motorhomes come with this factory installed, but most fifth wheels and travel trailers do not. So I got by a few years without one, but it always made me sort of nervous. You hear horror stories about the damage that can be caused by a trailer tire blowout, not to mention the safety hazard. So the wireless TPMS doesn't replace manual checks of tire pressure and heating, but it sure gives me a little extra peace of mind. I glance at the display and I can see how the tire pressure and temps are doing while underway. A few years ago I bought one called the Easy Tire from a brand called Easy RV, and I've been pleased with it. I also recently reviewed the i10 TPMS from Tire Minder, so I'll link to those and you guys can check that out if you like. Also, I'm going to have a blog post with links to all more in-depth articles that I've done on each of these items. So number 2, HaloView, the rear backup camera called HaloView is the one I use. Rear cam is one of our favorite gadgets, not so much for backing up the rig, though it's handy for that. With it, I'm able to see vehicles that are out of our line of sight behind me, and that's golden. Additionally, it's helpful to keep track of darting lane changers on busy multi-lane highways. Over the last few years, I've been using the HaloView brand. Fair disclosure, they gave me the hardware for review, and I am an affiliate for them. But honestly, I haven't had any significant issues with the HaloView cameras or displays. The ones I've tested have worked well. I like the fact that many of the display screens also record the footage, handy in case of a mishap to prove what happened. Number 3, Trimetric battery monitor system. So I purchased the Trimetric battery monitor back in 2015 and it's worked flawlessly ever since. When asked by boondocking newbies about off-grid power, batteries and solar etc., I always tell them the first thing to get is a quality battery monitor. It's like a fuel gauge for your battery capacity. Ones like the Trimetric or the very popular Victron utilize a device called a shunt. The shunt lets the monitor keep track of power out and power into the battery bank. Simple voltage gauges like the ones installed in most RVs don't do that. With the information provided, a person can get a real feel for how much power they use and whether their battery bank is being drawn down too far. Lead acid batteries, for instance, lose lifespan if they get discharged too deeply too often. So in many cases, if you have a quality battery monitor system over the years, they can actually pay for themselves by extending your battery life. Number 4, sea level tank gauges. One of the many upgrades I've purchased for the RV is a sea level 2 tank monitor. It replaced the almost useless OEM dummy lights. With the sea level gauge, I can get a much more accurate tank level reading. Accuracy is most important for my freshwater tank when camping off hookups. It tells me in 4% increments how much water I have left. So I know when we're going to have to break camp and go to hit some fresh water. I also have the sensor strips installed on the shower tank, the galley tank, and the black waste holding tanks. I find the shower tank is also accurate, but not so much for the kitchen and black. If I keep them well flushed, they read proper, but if boondocking for long periods, they slowly get worse until they just show 100% all the time. Still, if I get another RV, I would want the sea level again, at least on the fresh and shower tanks. Number 5, digital thermostat. Like ours, many RVs come with cheap manual slider control thermostats for control of heating and cooling. We quickly found it was hard to set for precise temperature, and its range was being on and off about 4 degrees, so you end up being too cold and then too hot. I ended up swapping it out for a digital model, first with the Hunter brand and then a Honeywell. The Honeywell can auto switch between cooling and heating modes, which I like, because a lot of times during parts of the year we stay where we need that function. The hardest part of the mod is figuring out the RV wiring, as there's no standard to it. They all seem to be sort of different. Thankfully, many folks have done the same mod to different brands and have shared it online. Number 6, dash camera. For Christmas in 2015, my lovely wife Ann gifted me with the Garmin 20 dash cam. It had been on my RV gadget wish list for quite some time. I wanted it for video footage in case of accidents, but also my YouTube videos. It's great to be able to show people the view as we drive into campsites or boondocking locations or other exciting things that we see on the road. The Garmin lasted pretty well, but last summer I was offered an Akaso Trace 1 Pro dash cam for review and swapped them out, giving the old Garmin to my mum. The Trace 1 Pro has a second rear-facing camera and a parking mode to record whenever your vehicle is impacted while parked. Handy to have if someone is messing with the truck or it gets hit in a parking lot or RV site. Number 7, the Hangs bathroom fan. I'm not sure why I waited so long putting up with that crappy little OEM bathroom fan, but finally last summer I upgraded to the larger Hangs Vortex fan and modded it so I could adjust its exact speed. We love it, and now it's a must-have. Any odors or after shower moisture can be exhausted from the bathroom in a flash. Or I can set it low and quiet to create a little breeze and ventilation on hot days. Number 8, the RV air compressor. With all the extra tires an RVer has to deal with, a 12-volt portable air compressor for me is a must-have item. For many years I made do with a Slime brand compressor. It did the job, but was slow and noisy. A few years ago, Mrs. Claus surprised me with the top-of-the-line Viair 450p RV air compressor kit. It came with a 100% duty cycle compressor and 60 feet of hose plus various attachments. The first thing I did was add a 12-volt power socket to the side of the fifth wheel, so I had a convenient place to plug it in. The 450p RV model is pricey but performs well, quiet, fast, and built to last. I use it for the truck and trailer tires, pin box airbag, and occasionally as an air gun to blow out debris from places. Number 9, RV lock keyless entrance door lock. I must have been an exceptionally good boy in 2018 because that same year I also received the RV lock keyless entry door handle. It replaces the OEM key type handle. So far it's held up well, no complaints. We love, especially my wife, not having to carry a key around when we step out for a walk or a hike. And if we need to give someone access while away, it's as simple as giving them the code for the lock. And finally, number 10 on this must-have RV gadgets list is my Garmin GPS, explicitly made for RVs. I've been using it since 2007 and appreciate the extra warnings tailor-made for RVs. Things like high crosswinds, steep grades, and sharp corner warnings. With my inputted RV dimensions, it tries to route me via suitable roads and highways. It's not foolproof, but overall does a decent job. It doesn't need internet to work, and my model has a free lifetime map download. I also like the large bright display and vehicle speed readout. It knows the speed zone I'm in and shows red if I'm above that. Another nice feature is the built-in RVing POIs, points of interest, like RV parks, campgrounds, RV dealers, Walmarts, and repair shops. I've even been able to download and load some custom POIs from Allstays and low clearances. Anyway, there you go. That's another 10 of must-have gadgets. Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Till next time, Ray from LoveYourRV.com. Cheers, folks.